Hi everyone, this is Letitia with Healthy Planet Group, and I wanted to come on today to share 4 things that we all must stop doing in order to reduce stress in our life. Okay, and this is a 4-part series, so today I'm going to share the number 1 thing we all have to stop doing, and that is lacking boundaries. So you might be wondering why it is so important to think of ways to reduce stress. And as we know that in order for us to become who we really want to be in life, physically, mentally, emotionally, in our relationships, personally, professionally, we really have to have a manage on stress, right? And it is so important because they say that stress is the number 1 thing that really contributes to serious health problems and also disease. And so a few questions I have for you are, is what behavior you are allowing from your partner, parent, spouse, anyone in your life, is that actually causing you stress? Are you part of the reason why your kids might be stressed? Okay. And previous to deciding to invest in, improving my mental and emotional health, I was super frustrated and discouraged with many of my most important relationships. And maybe you guys can relate to that. But yet when I started healing the gut-brain connection, and really enabling effective communication and neurotransmitters between my gut and my brain, and also rebalancing my gut with healthy prebiotics and probiotics for mental wellness and emotional wellness, that is really the pivotal turning point in my life where I saw a considerable difference, that I was able to shift all of the energy that I was using to basically just kind of be in the fight or flight stage and really kind of the overwhelm stage, to actually being able to incorporate some of these great strategies that get you forward in your personal development journey, like setting boundaries. I was able to shift my emotional energy towards the work that's needed to really set, maintain, and implement boundaries. So you might be wondering, if you're new to the boundary conversation, is what really is boundaries, right? And they can be described as making clear what's okay, what's not okay, and why, right? And this is really personalized for each of us because we're all a little bit different with, the different things that we're sensitive to and the boundaries that we need to create in order to really be comfortable and promote healthy relationships with ourselves and others. And not everyone in our life is really self-aware, right? And they're not really conscious of the impact that they make on other people and how they make them feel. So it's really important to set a standard for how you want other people to treat you. So today I'd like to share 5 different boundaries and how you might imagine they could transform your relationships. Okay, and the first one of those is emotional boundaries. And this is pretty much summed up as dismissing people that just dismiss other people's emotions, making people justify, how they feel, emotional dumping, inappropriate questions or topics. And maybe you can consider looking back in the way maybe you were raised. Maybe some people thought that it was okay, to put a lot of their emotions on, maybe others in the family, or even from the parent to the child. And that is something that I've encountered and I've seen a lot, and actually that I've even been guilty of doing previously, before I really kind of started becoming aware of how that really was negatively impacting others. And the holistic psychologist is the one that really I got these 5 different boundary types from. And she kind of reminded that the parent-child relationship should really be one directional, and it really should be a parent that responds to the child's needs. And a child really shouldn't ever have to worry about what a parent needs, right? And it kind of creates an enmeshment, codependency, things that just really aren't helpful in creating a child who really is confident with their own way of being in the world. And the next boundary that is kind of interesting that I thought was material. And that is described as possessions, what can be shared, how things are treated. I've actually had to consider kind of helping my kids out with that in terms of borrowing clothes, right? Kids have things and they're, important, special things in their life. And just like us, they should have boundaries, and we kind of have to walk them through what might be a healthy way of sharing or treating the items of their siblings. The next boundary is time and energy. Okay, this can be described as plans, being late, no-show, contacting someone when they've requested you not to contact them, asking for too many favors, asking for a lot of free labor. This one came kind of into my life recently, and I kind of was thinking about this one individual and how they just kind of show up a lot at my house. And even though I love this person, I kind of had to set a boundary of letting them know that I really enjoy spending time with them, and I really want to spend a lot of time with them on a consistent basis. But I really just need to know, right, because I'm running a family of 5 here, what days they have available, what kind of plans they have, and let me know maybe a couple days in advance so we kind of plan and make it happen. So, it could just be something as courteous as letting someone know what works for you so you guys can kind of meet in the middle and find a good balance, right, for your relationship. The next boundary is mental, and that is described as thoughts, values, opinions, beliefs. So, for example, you might have some strong-willed characters in your life, and maybe they have really strong beliefs, opinions, thoughts, values, and maybe they feel as if you need to adopt those too. And it's really important that we make sure that we consider that everyone can have a different perspective. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that their way is not right if it's not your way. And really kind of making sure that even when we're thinking of children and how this feels as like a child or teenager, that they don't feel as if the way in which they see the world is the wrong way. They're able to come to their own conclusions about maybe what maybe spiritual beliefs work for them or what they find as really the right way. So that can be really interesting and hard, but it's important to just consider how that might make other people feel. The last one is physical. Okay, so physical boundary, this would be related to space, touch, PDA, unwanted sexual or physical comments. I think of this one a lot, and particular of how we sometimes comment on females' appearances. We also comment on males for sure, especially in their developing years of being a child or being a teen. And I know these days, kids are bombarded with the marketing propaganda of how they should look and how they should dress and all of that. And it's just so important to take your comments out of the equation to lessen the stress of being a teen and all the curvy, interesting ways your body is growing, right? So those are the 5 different boundaries: emotional, material, time, energy, mental, and physical. And I definitely know, right, that setting and maintaining boundaries can be really, really hard. I really, really know that. Because often we're surrounded by people, right, that sometimes are more comfortable with a version of yourself that works best for them, right? And so it's important to remember when we feel like some of these things are really challenging or tough, that we think that it's either this, right, actually how your relationship is right now, maybe without certain boundaries, or it's something better, Okay, so really think about that when you are going through the muddy parts and the difficult parts of life, of really letting people know how they should treat you, right? And maybe that's new for them because they've treated you a certain way in the past, but this is the new you, right? And they should care about how you feel. And it's really time for us all to get off the hamster wheel, right? Of just our relationships kind of progressing kind of in a slower motion, hopefully in the right direction, but sometimes not. Sometimes they're really stagnant. And it's really important for us to consider how boundaries can help move our relationships towards us both being authentically ourselves and comfortable with the balance in the relationship. So, reduce your stress by setting and maintaining boundaries. That is the number one thing of the 4 things you must stop doing in order to reduce stress in your life. And if you found this video valuable, please like, comment, share. I can't wait for the other ones as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.